So what the hell is wrong with Brett Weinstein? Now, don't get me wrong, I don't doubt that he has good intentions, that his heart is in the right place. But what the hell is wrong with Brett Weinstein? Brett first came to prominence in May of 2017 when cornered by what can only be described as a mob of students baying for his resignation because he had said some racist shit. Complete nonsense, of course. Weinstein's credentials as an anti-racist are impeccable. Far left, you might say, committed to all those lovely things that SJWs love so much. Equity, diversity, etc., etc. So to accuse a man like this of racism is just silly. But listening to Weinstein trying to reason with the mob in the corridor that day, I was struck with what I thought was his astonishing naivety. At one point he tells the students that he is interested not in a debate, but in a dialectic. I admit I didn't understand what the word meant. I had to look it up. A dialectic is essentially a discourse or a dialogue between two or more people with the objective of establishing truth through mutual reasoning. The target is the truth, as opposed to just winning as it is in a debate. So Weinstein was telling the mob, can't we just talk about this? We're on the same side. We're not enemies, etc., etc. I personally thought it was embarrassing and naive. One of the students laughed in his face. I remember thinking at the time that no student would ever get away with talking that way to one of my professors, or would even think of doing so. They would be properly disciplined, and rightly so. But instead of ordering them to stop disrupting his class and threatening them with discipline, he wanted to be their friend. And now he's at it again. On February 26th, in a room in Clubhouse entitled "Is Clubhouse Obsessed with Wokeism?", which was hosted by a user by the name of Michael Tracy and co-opted by a user by the name of Brooklyn, Weinstein was a spectator in the room and was subjected to the usual sort of accusatory interrogation that we've become used to seeing him participate in. They usually start with a number of allegations made against him, that he's a racist, a transphobe. Take your pick from the SJW Handbook of Dirty Words. And once again, he tries to reason with them, unsuccessfully of course. But he also does something astonishing. He says, "I'm not white, I'm Jewish." To which one of his interlocutors replies, "Yes you are, you're spicy white." Why this desperate need to place himself the way he does? I think he does this because he thinks he's one of them, the victim. He still doesn't get it. He still doesn't understand how deep the hole he helped to dig really is. I think he needs to wake up and smell the coffee. These aren't your co-victims, Brett. They aren't your friends, your mates, your pals, or your brothers and sisters in arms. And they see you as the enemy.
He was in the audience.
He wasn't kicked. He left, I think.
Yeah.
Also, I'm taking some time to notice too who's in here. Thank you to whoever DM'd me, right? But Brett Weinstein, yeah, I'm calling you out. Somebody that they really promote on this app, right? I'm always seeing him, like, not in the town halls on the stage, but in the audience. And he's always like having such a huge influence on this app, right? And his nigga's mad racist. Like,
Add Mark.
are
Brett,
anti.
look at you, Brett. Add Mark.
Wait, who is it? Who is it?
Mark
Brett Weinstein under Felicity, under Exotic. So Exotic and then Felicity and then right there
Actually,
Brett.
bring him up. Actually, bring him up.
32,000 followers, but you're not going to go back and talk about this.
Bring him
You're not going to talk about how we
Brooklyn.
had to, you know what I'm saying? None of that. What's up?
Brooklyn, to put this in a little bit more of a perspective, I think Brett, Eric, and I'll let him speak for himself, but they are kind of a part of all the classical liberal groups, or I don't know what to call it, but they're kind of a part of that the intellectual, I guess, dark web. So they're not just popular on this app. They're popular amongst people that are kind of the, anti-woke or anti, they've been, I'll let Brett answer
these
it.
white people are messaging me. They're talking about can a white person step up to the congregation?
Yeah, I'll let Brett explain himself.
Don't call it a congregation. Don't say that. That's racist.
Right.
And that was intentional. So good, block them. And we move.
Was that you, Marcy, who was saying something about who I am?
Yeah, I was trying to give some context to these rooms, and I don't. I wasn't here earlier, and apparently some things were said that were insensitive. I was trying to catch up, but I was, trying to explain that you have a podcast and you're popular off this app for your POV on wokeism and stuff like that. That's all I was trying to frame it.
Appreciate it.
Also a VC, am I mistaken, or are you also an investor on this app as well?
No.
Yeah.
I'm not an investor.
They promote you like you are.
I don't know that there's any promotion. I've been here a little while. I did get an invite fairly early on, but I don't think there's been any promotion here.
Okay, can we speak to the fact if you are anti-wokeness and the progression of Black people? Do you believe in white supremacy? Do you believe in white privilege? Are those sentiments that you stand by? People here are saying that you have spewed racism across this app. So can you speak to that?
Transphobia. Yesterday he was defending the binary.
Wait, why was Dio down in the audience? What happened?
Yeah, what happened?
I think they left.
Oh, they probably moved themselves. Go ahead.
Can I ask something of you before I answer your questions?
Did you answer those questions? Do you support white supremacy? Are you anti-racist?
And transphobia.
Okay. I'm happy to do all these things, but I would ask you to try to listen.
Listen, white man. We're in charge here, okay? We asked you some questions. You can answer them or you can go.
Brett, here's the problem, Brett. It's the same thing if I was to ask the president of the United States, or the previous president. When I asked him,
Gerald, we're not even gonna do that. He knows exactly what we asked him. Brett, are you anti-racist? Are you transphobic? Are you anti-black? Like, give us the answers right now and quickly, or you're gonna get off the stage.
Sure, 100%. But let me correct something Marcy said first.
100% what? Are you 100% anti-black, or are you 100% anti-racist? What's going on?
Okay, I am 100%.
I don't even like the way that he had made Marcy explain what was happening, or he tried.
No, I just wanted to know. Look, come on.
Can y'all please stop trying to let this man wiggle out of the answering the questions? Go, Brett.
Okay, first of all, I'm not a classical liberal. I'm an actual liberal. Okay, far left, have been my whole life. I am thoroughly anti-racist by any normal definition, but I don't like Kendi's definition of anti-racist. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination a white supremacist. As a matter of fact, I'm not even sure whether I qualify as white. I'm Jewish. It's a different thing. My people have been persecuted by Europeans.
You are, Brett. You're just spicy white, but continue.
Okay, fine. I'll take that. I don't think it's a simple issue. And to be honest, was there a third question on the? Oh, am I transphobic?
Are you transphobic?
I am not the least bit transphobic. As a matter of fact, I was a professor.
Can you stop right there? Protecting trans rights has nothing to do with negating the sexual binary, and it does not require any new pronouns. Those claims are instead about wielding power over others. Because it is acts and the replies, they, them is not helpful. That is again about power. He, him, and she, her are all that is necessary. So I'm confused. Why are you up here saying you're not transphobic?
Very simple reason, which is that in every interaction I've had with trans people, and it has been many interactions, simply figuring out which pronouns are preferred, whether it's he, him, or she, her, has been absolutely sufficient, right? We don't need to make
You've not met every trans person. You haven't met every single trans person.
No, you're right.
Brett,
Hunter,
go ahead,
we were
Hunter.
on the panel together last night. Do you remember me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Brett?
I did,
yeah,
of course.
So you're saying that having to use they, them pronouns is not within your capacity because you feel like he, him, she, her pronouns are sufficient enough to cover everybody's gender identity and how they want to be identified via pronouns?
Well, let me just say, I'm an evolutionary biologist. I'm very interested in how language actually changes. Say again?
a eugenicist. That's what you mean as evolution.
No.
Those are the same thing.
No, it's not the same
thing.
Thing.
The same. They are the
it's
same.
Not. It's not the same thing. In fact,
they're the same.
one of my
argue that here. You're not about to try to wiggle out of that.
I'm not trying to wiggle out of anything.
For eugenicists. Yes,
I'm not trying to wiggle out of anything. Look, racism and genocide are products of evolution. I don't favor them. I recognize that they emerge out of evolution, and part of what I want to do is help people to understand why that is and what we can do about it. Okay?
Okay, so I want you to like be able to explain that, but I just want to be clear. Last night when you were naming things that I clearly identified as transphobic, and that other folks did too, you pushed back to say that biology was something that was important, right? But now this sentiment around pronouns actually reaffirms the narrative that there is a particular investment in how you want to move culturally transphobically, where you actually literally want to actually remove people's agency and what feels affirming to them in their gender identity, but just even in their own affirmation at all. So Brett, you agree you're transphobic?
No, I don't agree that I'm
You're
transphobic.
a scientist and you used anecdotal experience to justify your view on pronouns. You're a scientist. Like, just because someone has only ever eaten hot dogs doesn't mean that hamburgers don't exist. And if hamburgers can see your statements, then why are you making them?
And we also cannot remove science as a part of transphobia. Evolutionary biology is a means to spread scientific transphobia. Those two things are linked. Science as an institution was built in transphobia and anti-blackness. So you saying that you are an evolutionary biologist does little to claim eugenesis was also a field in science. So your claims do not push the fact that you are not transphobic. That's still a transphobic position to take.
It's not transphobic. I'm interested in seeing trans people.
How can you say that something is not transphobic when people are literally telling you that it's transphobic? Like the privilege. It's like the
So I don't understand how you think this works. Okay, we can have a disagreement. We can have a disagreement about whether or not I'm transphobic.
No, we can't have a disagreement.
So Brett,
Brett, you're gonna have to go to the audience and you need to cash up everybody up here $1,000 for you coming back up. Next.
You got it. No disagreement.
Started the conversation off saying you weren't a white supremacist, and you completely started talking points and anecdotes. Like, you don't really look at that as being a white supremacist.
He's used to talking himself out of shit. Oh my god, I thought it was on mute.
He's like,
if you stand up white supremacy, you are a white supremacist, and that's what you exactly. We just let you speak, and that's exactly what you just spewed: white supremacy.
I also think that